Hey, No Pants Nation, what's up? I'm super excited to be talking to you guys today, along with one of my very good friends here, Jay Van. Jay is one of my favorite people in the world to talk to, and you will see why when you hear him speak in just a moment. But Jay is the founder of Tradie Growth Academy, and he is an expert when it comes to taking a superpower that he has created out of necessity and turning it into a six-figure online business. He also happens to do all that while balancing a wife and two very little kids. So he's pretty much a superpower, superhero. And so I'm really excited to be introducing him to you today. So Jay, we're going to break down how you got started and all of that. But first, tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from? What do you like to do over there? And what is your business?
Yeah, cool. That's so awesome intro. Probably call myself a super dad, or so I think so. But yeah, look, I don't know if you noticed, but my accent, I'm from Australia, Sydney. So I don't know if you've seen the Harbour Bridge. Basically, that's where I live. So all the way from Australia. But yeah, look, what I love to do on the weekend is literally just spend like super quality time with the kids. That's what I love the most. And just being there as a dad and all the other things that come along with it. So yeah, so that's what I do kind of on the weekend. Just love spending time with them. But yeah, like I'm the founder of Tradie Growth Academy, where I help tradies do three things, which is attract more leads, convert more quotes or contracts over there in the States, and grow their business. So that's basically in a nutshell what I do.
Very, very cool. Thank you. And how old are your kids now?
So Willow Rose, she's 5, and I've got Aston, like Aston Martin. Always wanted an Aston one day. So he just turned 7 months.
Wow. So really little guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to get into how you've been able to do this and kind of set yourself up to have the freedom and the flexibility to be home with them when you want. And we're going to get into all that. But tell me, first of all, like, where did it all begin? Before you had this online business, tell us what was going on.
Yeah, totally. So I guess it all started back in 2006 for me. That's like, the start of my entrepreneurial road there. I started my first business. So in 2006, I was a mechanic. So, on the tools, spinning spanners and stuff like that. I found a really cool niche in a market, in an automotive market, where, it was currently being underserved. And that was around repairing scooters. So Vespa scooters, those Italian kind of scooters that you see with the all the nice green groceries on the front of it. And they've probably got about 2 or 3 kids on the back and they're riding along. Those type of scooters. So you probably call them mopeds over there, or what do you call them?
Yeah, I call them a moped. I don't know if everyone does, but
yeah,
mopeds.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's where it all started. Like I started that business in 2006. I built it, I grew it, and then I successfully sold it in 2013.
Awesome. So when you were kind of you went from repairing scooters, basically, you're telling us.
Yeah. Yeah.
You sold that business. So now fill in the gaps. So you sell it in 2013.
Yep.
What made you even decide to explore like online? Why was that a thing?
Great question. So I guess in 2006, I had no idea about business. I didn't know what a business plan was, a tax invoice or anything like that. I just dived straight in. Didn't really even have a plan. But I soon realized that I needed to learn a whole bunch of stuff in terms of marketing and sales and systems to really grow. And I found myself, attending a lot of free workshops, paid workshops, a lot of seminars, a lot of all these kind of speaker events. Just literally went to every single one that I could find, devoured all these like books and podcasts, and found, content online that, had great info. And I kind of put all the little pieces together over time. And yeah, during that period, I found like I absolutely love marketing. Like I could spend my whole life just, talking about marketing. Like I could spend 10 hours with you today just talking about marketing. But I really fell in love with marketing my business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do you take someone that has no idea about your product or service and, you know, turn them into, from a prospect into a raving fan? So I guess I loved that part of owning my business. And that's where I saw a bit of an opportunity of, hey, you know, what am I going to do next? Like, I've sold my business. What should I do? So I kind of had my skill and my knowledge and real world experience in terms of building a business. And that was really got to do with like marketing. So I thought, how can I apply my skills, my knowledge, everything that I've learned to help somebody else in their business? So I guess that's where it all first started. And then I really just specialized in marketing at that stage.
And so that your superpower then you're telling me is kind of like, it's really marketing. You've started out with scooters, but
yeah.
And so you kind of, you discovered that while you were actually growing your business. And is that how you were able to sell it? I mean, I know nothing about owning like a repair shop or anything. So
Yeah.
did you just build it up through your marketing expertise?
Totally. Like 80% of my revenue came literally from online marketing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I thought, well, I know a lot about online marketing, and it was literally my business. Like 80% of, you know, the success there all came from online marketing.
Cool. So you pretty much just decided to take what you knew about marketing and then use it to serve other people after you realized that was your true passion, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you first started online, how did you get your first clients? Was it through services? I know Tradie Growth Academy, we'll get into that, I'm sure, but Tradie Growth Academy, I know, is like an online course. It's an online program, an info product you sell, but did you start out with an info product or was it more services?
No. So it all came from, all the services that I was providing. So I saw a big problem in the marketplace where these tradies or contractors, as what you call them over there.
I totally forgot at the beginning of this to even preface everyone. So yeah, I know what a tradie is because I've worked with Jay for a while. So yeah, tell them really quick what a tradie even is.
Yeah, so we have this Aussie slang over here. We call them tradies. Basically, they're contractors. You know, that's what you guys call them over there. But basically, you know, like plumbers, electricians, roofers, landscapers, carpenters, any of those type of trade-based businesses, we just call them tradies over here.
All right. Thank you for that.
Oh, good.
So you started with services then?
Yeah.
Serving them. What was your like marketing service that you kind of packaged in the beginning? Like, how did you get your first client?
So I always looked at problems. Like, what is instead of like creating ideas, like I just looked at like, what is a big problem in like in the marketplace? And I saw that, you know, a lot of these contractors or tradies didn't really have an online presence, but if they did, their website was what I call like a brochure website or a dead website. Like, it just wasn't built to take a visitor into a lead, into an inquiry, into a quote. And so I saw this opportunity and I was like, well, you know, why don't I just apply what I applied for my old business, right? That literally generated 80% of the revenue. Why don't I just sell that service to, you know, tradies and contractors? So I went after guys that had literally like a dead website or just a terrible website, right? And educated them on, you know, like, what is a lead generation website? What is the difference? So I went after guys that had websites already, but then I also went after guys that literally didn't have a website. And yeah, cut the story short, like I used to sell these websites where, you know, in the marketplace, anyone could get a website for $500 or $1,000, right? But they just don't have the conversion elements that effectively takes a visitor into a lead. And so I used to sell these websites to these guys for $6,000.
Wow. So everyone else was pricing them at like 500 to 1,000,
Yeah.
and you were going in to the same market and saying, "I'll do it for 6,000." People were paying you, I'm assuming, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Okay,
within
so
the
you've got to
first,
tell us how you managed. You've got to break that down. How
yeah.
how in the world did you
How did I do it?
how did you confidently, well, first of all, how did you even price that? Because that's like a huge issue, is how do I even price what I have to offer? And then
Yeah.
how do you actually sell it at that price?
Yeah. So great question. There's a difference between, so my mindset, because I had experience, like real world experience over the 7 years that I owned my own business. Um, I knew, like, I was in the mindset that, like, I know if I help deploy this lead generation website, this company or this business will generate results. So number one, I knew my stuff was that great that they would actually get results. So I believed in my service to begin with. But more importantly, I based the price on value. So value-based selling. Instead of you being a commodity, there was no way in the world that I was going to sell websites for $1,000. Um, so yeah, like with that, you need to like really think about, if you go after a person, like there's two different kind of companies. There's a company that may be doing $1 million, right? And then another guy that's doing $100,000. These guys probably have the same problem, okay? But this company that is turning over $1 million, they may have like $100,000 problem, okay? Which is maybe their website. So $100,000 problem because they've got a dead website or a crappy website or a brochure type website that's effectively not converting those visitors into leads. That company is literally could be missing out on hundreds of thousands of dollars. Whereas the guy on the other side is, he's got $100,000 business. He may only have a $10,000 problem. So it's a whole lot easier selling the other company that's doing $1 million, right? Plus educating them on what the problem is and then showing them where the missed opportunity is, and then saying, look, if your service is worth $1,000, if you're selling your service worth $1,000, like you're missing out on like all these jobs right now, all these inquiries. Like, what is 5 inquiries worth to you? 6 inquiries, 10 inquiries. And like, I looked at that and I thought, if I could only get them an extra, like, I don't know, 10 inquiries over the whole year, like, isn't that worth 10 grand to you? But I knew that I could like hit it out of the park and generate them even better results than that. So I sold it based on value, not sold it based on market commodity based pricing. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And that's like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's a huge, I think, mindset shift for anyone to have in any business, but especially like freelancers as well as your guys, because I know this is something you teach them in your course, to not make themselves a commodity when it's so easy to just get caught in the path where you sign up for like the feeder websites, tradies, contractors, they have them over here and in Australia, just like freelancers. You can just stick yourself inside Upwork and you end up as a commodity because everyone there wants the lowest bid.
Yeah.
So, and it kind of like forces you to just compete on price instead of
100%.
understanding. Yeah. Instead
Yeah.
of really knowing. It's like partially, like you said, having the confidence and the knowledge that, and it doesn't even, I mean, do you think it has to be quantifiable results? Like, because in marketing, it's pretty easy to be like, here's how much this is worth.
Yeah. I think you should either tie it back to a revenue based kind of figure, or a like, I don't know, you could be like some health coach or something like that. So tie it back into like, I don't know, how much is having a healthy lifestyle worth to you? Like living an extra 10 years, making sure that you can
Oh God,
go
yeah.
and go train, go run around the park with your kids. Like how much is that actually worth to you?
Hmm.
You know?
Just
So
knowing
tying it
that
back.
question, like just knowing that question is huge. Just to be able to know to say, what is X worth to you? That's
Exactly. Yeah. So, and it's great that you pointed out, like, there's these platforms that you just mentioned, right? We have them over here. I'm not going to mention it, but there are all these like directories, and basically they pull all these contractors or tradies on this whole platform. And what they're doing is they're buying media like AdWords or Facebook and driving traffic back to their site for the end consumer. And then end consumer is basically educated and taught to pick out of 3 quotes or pick the best quote. And like when we think of quote, like we think of price. So really you've been set up for failure from the very start. Like you've been put in this pool of every other type of person, right? Where they may not be as good as you, but in your prospect's eyes, they're on this platform and they want a good deal. I just think it's the wrong platforms to be on. If you really want to make sure that you are value-based selling, you're attracting the wrong type of customer to begin with. I'd rather be very more targeted and specific and find a prospect that already has like a pain and a problem, and like be very strategic in terms of like going after them. Does that make
definitely.
sense?
Yes, absolutely. So go after kind of what we call like your dream client, not just
Yeah.
after, well, whoever will pay me money, because I used to have that same mindset, like, well, whoever will pay me, I'll work with them. But no, like be strategic. And yeah, absolutely. Because it ends up like not only serving them better, it serves, well, not only serving you better, it definitely serves your client better. Everyone's happier.
Oh, 100%. Like you feel good. Like you wake up in the morning and you know that you can add tons of value to this person or this company, but you've been very strategic in terms of picking them. And you want to make sure that when you chase out, like not chase, but when you go after your perfect clients or perfect prospects, is that they're like dream clients. And literally like you could on the weekend hang out with them or have a drink or have a coffee. Like that's how you want to kind of feel when you catch up with them. Like I don't know how much the guys know, but like you do some of my copy, right? For me. And I hope I feel like I'm just a friend to you, and I'm not like some hard pressured client. It's pretty much like a relationship. Like I feel that we've had like this kind of long term
Oh yeah,
relationship, and it's been great.
absolutely. I'm
So
coming to Australia next week to stay with you. Did you not know that? I thought we were
uh,
friends. No. Oh no, absolutely. Yeah, I love that. You should want to have coffee, be friends with them. Yeah,
yeah,
I love that. Um, so you could have, if you're making I don't know, but to build a 6-figure business selling $6,000 websites, you could have just kind of kept doing that, right? Just I mean, even just 2 of those a month and
yeah,
you're good. That
yeah.
seems kind of not easy, but I mean, so why did you didn't stop there, obviously. You
No.
shifted your model a little bit.
Yeah.
So what was the reason or what happened
So
next?
I started seeing more problems. Like I just love seeing problems and solving them, because I think that's where the money's at. And like you need to make sure that you're passionate about what you do. Like you're tying your passion with, making sure that it is viable. But yeah, I transitioned from just selling websites for 6K, and I was like, well, I've got all this knowledge in my head, and there's all these other problems that these guys have. I don't know. What if I could just like record and just brain dump, but put it into a bit of a system, and have all these resources where they can like literally like you want to send out an email to a strategic partner. Imagine I've already got those resources for you that you could literally copy and paste and send out. Like all these resources and videos, like step by step in terms of getting these tradies or contractors more jobs. How could I actually teach them how to fish instead of just giving them the fish? Like, I could keep giving them a fish, but like if I teach you how to fish, like you'd get literally like you'd be, you'd never starve for the rest of your life if you know how to fish. So I package literally everything that I know into a short 6-week course. Like I think the very first kind of time I saw someone package something into a product and kind of show you how to do it was like Brendan Bouchard. He was great. And I saw how he was doing it. And I was like, well, I mean, why don't I just do that with these guys? Like I've got all this knowledge. It will definitely help them. Let's put it into a very, like a very tailored system, like step by step. So it's very easy to follow, and just unpack all my IP that I have in my head and put it into a course that they can just literally buy, consume the info, but more importantly, take massive action with all the resources and help that I've got.
That's awesome. And so I'm guessing like having services first kind of helped you get results too. So you could,
it allowed me knowledge. It allowed me to really go deep into the market, because I think like if you're just creating a course for the sake of it, you want to go from the inside out instead of from the outside in, if that makes sense. So if you're thinking about, I want to create a course, like it's just your ideas. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just your thoughts. But if you actually dive deep into a market, you'll start to learn and realize that there's other problems that need solving, and you'll get more of an insight in a market than what you would have done in terms of you just being yourself on the outside thinking that this is what they want. So it's always better to go from the inside out. And I think with service-based, like selling a service, you're always like seeing all the turning pieces, like the nitty-gritty stuff, all the problems. I guess that was like the foundation of me launching this course.
Yeah, and then you know it's going to sell too. If you've been with the market, you like know exactly what their actual problems are that you need to solve in the course, not like you said, just here's what I think people want to know or should know. Yeah, totally.
And the key is like, I try to make sure that how could I strip out all the fluff? Because there's so much crap out there. How could I make sure that all the bits and pieces, and I only have like 6 kind of core strategies that I teach these guys. Like if kind of somebody stripped away like all the things that I knew, but only left 6 things for me to teach these people, what would they be? They're the 6 things. So I left out all the other crap.
That's great advice for making a packaged knowledge course or anything. Yeah. Keep it simple and to the point. And I don't think a lot of freelancers even ever consider doing like packaged services, because I mean, it's just kind of a given. If you're a freelancer, you're serving others with your creative gifts and talents, whatever that may be. But that's a massive way to open yourself up to more freedom, right? I mean, if you're not having to do it for someone, you're teaching them how to do it themselves.
Yeah.
Sure. Why wouldn't you?
I think there's 3 different levels. There's, or maybe 4, right? There's the person, the freelancer, where they're just charging based on like a commodity, like a price. But then there's another freelancers that like they really know their stuff. They know how much value they bring to the table and how it's going to impact that person financially or mentally or spiritually, whatever. And they value themselves way more high than the other person. And from the start, it's mindset, they will charge more. But then there's like, that's a one-off price. So you could sell your services for like a one-off price. But I think the next step is, how can you sell your services every single month to the same person over and over again?
Mm-hmm.
And, going back to the good old Jay Abraham, where like there's only three ways to grow a business. That's like one, get more customers. Two, increase your average dollar per transaction. So how much they spend. And number three, increase the frequency per transaction. So I guess my last point that I was touching on is how can you increase the frequency with that customer over and over again? I think it's very smart from the start for you to create a service based on selling a retainer to your perfect prospect. So it's month after month. So like next month you've got 10K coming in or 20K coming in because you know that you've got 10 clients paying $1,000 each, and it's not feast or famine type
Absolutely.
work.
Yeah. So did you do that when you were doing websites? Did you have any sort of retainer model in place also, just to kind of give us, I guess, some ideas of what could be?
Yeah, I started just doing. So I was like, hey, you need a website. It's dead. It's crappy. Here's a website. But now that you have a website, you actually need to generate high quality traffic to it. That's the next thing. Like you can't just have this website sitting there that's like killer that will convert all these visitors into leads. Like we need to get people there. And I guess that was like the next stage, in my sales funnel, so to speak, is, let's start sending traffic there. And with contractors, like majority of their business comes from Google AdWords and, some other places now, like obviously Facebook, but at the time, it was bolting on, like upselling them to retainers for AdWords.
That's super smart. I love it. So that's, great example of retainer for sure. Okay, so we've kind of covered where you started from business owner to you started doing marketing, found your superpower, your niche, and then we've transitioned into just package knowledge. So what I mean by that is your course that you have.
Yeah.
Or do you still do a mix of services and courses?
Yeah. So I would say right now, if I would break it up, it'd be like 80-20. So 80% I'm selling my package knowledge.
Okay.
And 20% I'm selling retainer services.
Nice.
But so now, and it's always this is a journey. Like I believe you'll never get to the destination. Like you'll always, like for every level, there's a new devil, right? Like the next stage that you reach, like you'll then soon find out that there's another milestone to reach. So with me right now, like I'm testing things out. Like I haven't got it all worked out. You know what I mean? I don't think no one has. Especially with marketing, there's just so many, trial and testing and measuring and going back, seeing what works. So I think with me right now, I'm really transitioning to how can I provide like 50-50, so 50% package knowledge and 50% retainer services. So I know that, as I said, there's 50 grand coming in next month, or in terms of retainers.
And let's talk a little bit about like how you're actually getting your clients. So do you do different methods for services versus courses versus package knowledge?
Yeah, totally. So when I first started selling my course, I went straight to the market with just a Facebook ad. So, I've put out an ad. Obviously, the whole strategy was well thought out. I then educated them in terms of showing them a webinar. And in that webinar, which was what we call evergreen. So if you're just kind of beginning, evergreen is literally just like a webinar that's online and it's running all the time. And that was selling the course on autopilot. so to say.
Mm-hmm.
But then, so that's how I got my first couple of clients. Just literally, putting out an ad, teaching them a whole bunch of great stuff that they could literally take my free stuff, go away and implement and get results.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, obviously I set up the webinar that, you touch on those pain points and you say, hey, look, you either do it the hard way or the easy way. And the hard way is you going away and trying to implement it yourself. Well, the easy way is having me with all these resources and videos and stuff like that, showing you step by step how to do it. And I'm there with you all the way. Mm-hmm. So I guess that was selling my package course.
Mm-hmm.
But then retainers, being very, very strategic with it. So one, going after a market that so with me, I'm still going after a market around contractors and tradesmen and stuff like that. And number two is making sure that they have money, right? I'm still passionate about, what I do, but I need to make sure that these people have the money to pay for it.
That they can actually pay you. Yeah.
Yeah. So number two, making sure that you go after, I'm going after, these people that have money, these businesses that have money. Mm-hmm. Number three, do they have a problem, right? A problem that is costing them money. So if they kind of tick all those kind of three boxes there, then I'm setting myself up for a good kind of dream client for me. So one, they've got a problem that I can solve. I can get them results. And they have money to actually pay for it. So yeah, with that, I'm using like a sales process. So I'm actually using like cold email outreach. Okay. So, one, like low hanging fruit is obviously I can communicate and give a bunch of value to my list and saying, hey, this is what I do now. Apply to see if you qualify. And, I might get a bunch there. But the other way is being very strategic, finding my dream clients that, they may be advertising in very high profile magazines. They might be advertising on TV. They might be running radio ads. They might be doing billboards and like spending all this money on marketing that really it's not bringing them a ROI, or they're not tracking. How can I kind of show them the opportunity that's currently being missed and give them the solution?
So you're finding them. Yeah, that makes total sense. Are you finding them like on LinkedIn, or you just pretty much like if you see someone like in a magazine or a commercial, are you just straight up finding an email?
Once you know your once you know your market, like where do they hang out? Where do these businesses or companies, where do they advertise? Mm-hmm. So like the best way is just going on Google and finding, it might be directories, like opening up, if it's like the home magazine, like opening up a home magazine and seeing if, who's got like a full page advert there. Just where do they hang out? Where do your prospects hang out? And go there and actually, find their contact details and reach out to them, but provide value first. Don't just pitch them, hey, like, because we all get it. Like, it's funny, I never ever do it, like 1 in every 5 years, but I was like intrigued. I'm like, what's in my spam folder? And I went to my spam folder and I was like, hi, would you like to become like number one on Google? And like we get that all the time, right? Mm-hmm. So don't straight up pitch your service or your solution, like add value first.
Mm-hmm. Would you give them like a lead magnet of some sort, some type of like education, or did you send them to a blog, or would you just educate them in that email itself?
Yeah, so it could be either so the media doesn't really matter, I believe. So the media being, if it's email, if it's a video, if it's going to be a video, like make it a personal video that you actually created for them. It doesn't need to be super long, but anywhere between like kind of 5 to 10 minutes or so, showing them exactly like what the problem is, what they need to fix, and how that would impact their business. And like if you, I don't know, if you're a graphic designer, for example, right? You could go to so someone that has money, okay, let's say maybe dentist. You go to a dentist's website, they've got a crappy, or maybe they've got an okay logo. What happens if you could actually animate that logo? Like there's software out there that will allow you to animate the logos. It'll probably cost you like $30 for a whole year, or for life. You could take that logo, put it through this animation, right? And then send the dentist saying, hey, I've just created this animated logo for you, right? Would you like to buy it, or would you like to, what's your thoughts? That's providing value first, like showing them almost value in advance, starting the conversation, and then, simply asking them a question like, do you want to, hop on a quick phone chat or something like that?
Very cool. Good advice. Yeah.
But always add value first.
Value first.
Yeah.
That is definitely advice to live by when you're marketing yourself.
Yeah.
So I know I can't keep you all day because it's like your Monday morning, right? I know you've got to work sometime, but I am fascinated. I love talking to people for various reasons, but about what their average day is like. And so I would love to hear for you, as kind of a online business owner. You're a freelancer. I would consider you. I mean, you've solved people's problems. So you're kind of like one of us. But what's your day look like now?
You'd be pretty shocked. Like I wake up pretty late. I like play with the kids, in the morning, in my underwear, rolling around on the ground and wrestling with them in the morning. So I don't wake up like super early and like, hustle. Like I'm building this business, more of a lifestyle business. I'd rather earn, I'd rather earn $100,000 a year and have my business in terms of like a lifestyle business so I could spend with my kids and my wife, instead of building this massive $1 million business where my kids don't even see me. I wake up early, I get into the city and I have all these meetings, and like, it comes back to just, what do you want? Like build a business, like build a life by design. I reckon like that's where it is. And so I guess my day is just like literally waking up, like kind of sleeping and playing with the kids, rolling around on the carpet and stuff like that, playing all these games, and then heading into my office here, and constantly creating new marketing material. Obviously with selling courses, like every single week you need to either write to your database, you need to add value there. You need to always kind of show authority in the marketplace. Because
and by database, for us newbies, you were referring to like your email list, right?
Yeah, email list. Yeah. But yeah, the amount of value that you provide is in direct proportion to how much money you'll make. So if you provide more value out there, it will just show in terms of financials. But yeah, I guess my day is just playing around with the kids, going into the office. The reason why I have an office, I'll let you know. So I had a home office, and I couldn't fully be present with either my work or my kids. And I think that's what you really need to make sure that you are, like you're 100% present, right? So like I believe you need to switch off. And I think this may come back to environments. Like if you're a freelancer and you've got like your wife and kids at home, like change up your environment, maybe go to the beach or something like that and crank out some work, or a cafe, or come like get an office like this. But like when you're in production, like producing mode, like be present with your work, you'll get more stuff done, and then switch off and then go back home and be fully present with your wife and your kids, because they deserve that.
I love that. Yeah, that's definitely a struggle that I will soon be aware of when I have a child running around here. So
Yeah.
that's great advice.
Yeah. And
Do
I
you
find
have,
myself, so then in the afternoon, I find myself like listening to a lot of like audio books. Like I suck at reading. I actually hate reading, but I love to listen. So what I'd do is I'd buy a book and get the audio with it and open up. Maybe I'm just lazy, but open up the book and have someone like read it for me. So I just go through the pages. So constantly like, listening, like reading books that solves a problem or a challenge that you're having right now. So don't go read a book on like leadership when you actually don't need that skill right now. Like, what do you need right now? Instead of like just in case learning. So yeah, I just find myself in the afternoon, like, reading and consuming, materials out there that solves my challenge that I have right now.
what have you been reading recently, out of curiosity?
I went back to the good old Russell Brunson books.
Nice. Yeah.
Like he's got two great books. If I kind of said, hey, what book would you recommend? Really, really good one, like really like an old one. And unfortunately, like he's not with us today. He's passed away. But Chet Holmes, The Ultimate Sales Machine, that is killer. Like it's all around like education-based marketing. So yeah, I mean, that's a great book. But yeah, the kind of the new age books out there is definitely like the .com secrets and expert secret books.
Yeah.
But just be careful, because you'll end up in some sales funnel and he'll sell you a bunch of stuff.
Yes, very, very true.
And then you'll become some cult following that will just buy absolutely everything and promote all his stuff.
All right. So you don't have like one guru you follow, because
there's obviously mentors that I have. Like I'm a part of like a high-end, like $20,000 mastermind, where, he's a coach for coaches. So he's coaching me. So I try not, like I follow a handful of people. It might be for motivation stuff, because I don't think he actually provides much practical step-by-step help. But like in terms of like getting you up, like motivated, like obviously Gary Vee, the very like strategic, great direct response marketer online is like obviously Frank Kern, like he's great. But then there's other guys out there that he's not so much of a guru, like he's just a friend of mine. He's got a company or a business called Rising Kings, and that's all about like how do you be the best kind of version of yourself in terms of like a man, of a businessman, a husband, being the best version you, like in terms of like the health department as well. So sometimes these guys aren't like gurus, they're just friends. But yeah, hopefully, did that answer your question? I don't know if that answered your question.
Oh yeah, totally. No, it's great to like surround yourself and just fill your mind with good stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially when you're owning your own business, you're kind of a solopreneur. It's
Yeah.
super.
Look at it. Look at it like this, right? Think of like there's three segments. The first segment is people that are behind you. And I'm not saying like you're better than them, but like you just know that you're kind of in front of them. Maybe not financially, but you know, like they're just not up to kind of par with where you're at in life. But then the second segment is people that are beside you. And those people that are beside you are like friends and family, like they're cheering you on, right? They've kind of got your back as well. Like, you know, your husband and stuff like that. But then there's people in front of you. Those people in front of you are more successful than you, living a kind of a life that you want. Maybe financially they're better off. They're just ahead of you. And like, who are those people? I think if you look at those three segments, can you honestly write down like in terms of how many people are behind you? Might be like 5. How many people are beside you? I don't know, like could be 6. How many people that you know that are in your circle that you communicate with every single day? How many people are in front of you that you can write down that you know that you speak to? And what you'll find is you're going to have that last segment in terms of people in front of you that you know that you surround yourself with, and you know, maybe part of a mastermind. Not many, maybe 1. So I think the goal is to like get more people in front of you and learn off them. You know, the good old Richard Branson, like be the dumbest person in the room, like be surrounded, like have people in front of you, more people in front of you than behind you and beside you.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so to close out, so you can get on with your day and have
That's
some
cool.
time for the kiddos later this evening, what's the best business lesson that you've learned over the last 10 plus years? And how can freelancers, or if you can think of something that freelancers could put into action to really help them, what would that be?
Yeah.
I know it's hard to boil it down to like one lesson.
The thing that stands out is go after problems, find problems. Don't think of ideas. Go find a problem that, as I spoke about, like go find a $100,000 problem or $1 million problem. Go find that problem and reach out to that market, provide value, and show them how to fix it and what the opportunity looks like. I think the main thing is look for problems worth solving.
That's great advice. Yeah. Especially to not become a commodity. That's great advice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jay, so much for your time today.
That's okay.
And please tell us where we can learn more about you, and this is your shameless plug opportunity. So if there's anything that you want us to check out, let us know.
Yeah. Well, your guys aren't actually tradies or contractors, but more than happy to, like, I love even like providing literally value to anyone that I know that I can help. Why don't we just link my Facebook profile? More than happy to, like, my personal profile, it doesn't matter, beneath this video somewhere. And if someone wants to reach out, have a conversation, more than happy to do so.
All right, sounds good. So you guys can reach Jay Van on Facebook. We'll have that link for you. And I think that is it for today. Thank you all for watching. And thank you so much, Jay, again, for your time. It was great talking to you.
No worries, Kate. Thanks for having me. And yeah, I'll be speaking to you real soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
We'll see you.
See ya.